I'm saying with your mindset of acceptance, easy acceptance of things and patience and uh, how do you go out and challenge the status quo? Unless you are a little rebellious and unless you are a little provocative, want to change things so that people can look at it in a different manner. How will you combine the two aspects of this?
Um, so maybe so the two aspects of what people of the people who like the idea and the people who don't.
In your mind, the reason of this entire series of questions is a questioning mind uh, has the ability to create new possibilities. The answers
Yeah,
may come or not. The answers may be right or not. But every wrong answer has one advantage that at least one path is closed. I know that this doesn't work. I have to try something else. So even a wrong answer is partially right in that sense. It has helped you understand the potential of a different answer. So my question to you is, if you're growing further and this ability to accept and be calm and patient with things, vis-a-vis trying to enter a field where you have to create a bit of a ruckus necessarily, because unless you have something new and novel, people won't look at you or look at your offering. How do you reconcile these two things?
so um I guess if I think about, sorry, I'm just thinking about it. um I don't.
Do you want me to give you a particular example?
Yes, please.
So if we say, for example, you and your mom are going to a party and you decided to wear something that is a little off track, generally what you don't do. So it could be a
Hmm.
scarf or a certain arm piece or anything at all. Something that you think looks good on you and you want to try it. It's a little wacky, very unlike you. Fashion is about trying these things only, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing this and your mother doesn't agree, but you want to do this. Now there is a question whether you like it or not, because you on normal days you agree with it. But here, point of view, you would let go of a wonderful opportunity to try a certain style. Now, if you agree with her, you have let go of an opportunity to make a fashion statement, which is necessary if you want to become a fashion designer. So, at that point, what would Ria do?
um I would try. So because usually if there's only so much that someone can tell me, that especially for something like fashion, there's only so much someone can tell me that doesn't look good on you, I don't think you should wear that. Because at some point I will realize myself that, okay, yeah, she is right, this does not look good. I shouldn't wear this. I shouldn't have worn this. But it's all about trying it out and seeing how comfortable I am, because maybe it may have been one particular thing I didn't like about it that I could change myself.
That's exactly my question. But if you are going to do this 10 out of 10 times, how are you going to create a difference? You understand? There is Ria and there is Ria 2. So there is
Yeah.
Ria who agrees with everything that is being told to her and she's sensible about things. Ria 2 is a little rebellious in nature, for want of a better term, or rather more clear about how she wants to communicate through the fashion that she wants to create. Both of you are fashion designers. Now, the second one has more of a chance to make a dent and do things her way because she perceives things, she has more clarity about it. The first one is ready to accept contrarian views very quickly and is unable to make a dent because uh, sometimes it is necessary to make a point.
Yeah.
So my question to you is that how do you then sustain yourself when you have a strong point of view, or do you never have a strong point of view?
I mean, sometimes I do have a strong point of view, but I do. I don't really question the point of view if because a lot I've always come across a situation where I understand the other person's point of view better than mine. So I don't really try to make it seem as such a more as such more of a deal because then I don't want to like argue with anyone or like make anyone else think that it's not. I mean, I would try to convince them that mine is also correct, but I wouldn't want to over pressure them, as I'm sure they wouldn't want to overpressure me into thinking that my their my point their point of view is correct.
Okay. Are you afraid of arguments and debates and discussions?
Um, I like some debates, but I don't really like arguments.
Um, is there a sense of fear, or are you more comfortable with the peace itself? So you have kind of calculated and realized there is no winning when there is an argument, both lose. Is there any such
Um,
possibility?
it just makes me think while I'm arguing with someone. It just I don't know. It just makes me get very overwhelmed, so I don't really like it. That's why.
Overwhelmed in what sense?
That I just get overwhelmed when if someone is like because a lot of the time when you argue with someone, sometimes they shout, and I don't like it when people shout. So I get very overwhelmed or something, and it gets a bit. I get just really like I feel like I'm cornered or something.
Okay. But it's not a negative emotion in your head. It's more like you're making peace with it because you would rather be peaceful than win the argument.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not that you're losing the argument and that's why you want to let go and run away.
Mm, I mean, some aspect of it is there, yes, but most of it is because I just think that yeah, I just want to make peace with it. I don't really want because it doesn't really help in any way.
Okay. How do you make peace with yourself then?
Until the other person is like more like calmed down or something, or until the other person is more is less like shout or is less annoyed or just less shouting, which are not shouting as much, then it's like I am just thinking, okay, well, what happened was it wasn't needed, but as long as it's just made the other person realize that we or like it's made me or realize that there are both different points of views because I don't really want to start an argument. So if it's the other person starting an argument, I want them to know that there is two points of views to different situations, and just because I have a different point of view to them doesn't mean that they should. I'm not asking them to apologize or anything, but they just need. I feel like they would. I feel like that it should be better for them to understand that there are two points of views, but I can't control that.
Okay, so effectively you're saying there can be more than one point of view that could be right, and we give it time, and both parties will arrive at a solution at some point, realizing that this one was right or the other one was right.
Yeah,
Okay, so since this series or this entire thing is under the values workshop, I have been trying to. This is a very different kind of conversation we've had, where I have not directly pointed out at values, but I would want to try and bring some stuff that came up. Correct me if you think my reading of what you said is wrong. So initially, we have kind of agreed that questioning is good if one is on a path where one wants to know more, genuinely know more, rather than just create situations where one is just talking for the heck of talking.
yeah,
That is one thought that came up. The other one was there are different ways of questioning. There are questions which are useless. There are questions which are useful. and there are questions with possibilities that they could go either way. So that is something you pointed out. Another thing that came out to me with your answers was the sense of patience that one should have even when there is a question which is big or small. You have to wait because it's not necessary to get the answer at the same time that you got the question.
Yeah.
Um, the other part is that what matters, and now I'm taking a behavioral aspect that came out to me from the school example that you gave, or from the examples with your mom that you gave, that the ability to question should not presuppose that the answer would be what we have already thought. It could be something else, or sometimes the question may also not be perceived in a manner where how you are thinking it. So in both cases, you give it time um, for people to understand or try and convince others that this is what the question is about. In that sense, basically, you're allowing knowledge to self develop for each character that includes you and the other person. Another thing that came up was with the example of your friend when you said that when you're very sure about certain thing being wrong,
Yeah.
absolutely sure, whether for because you, although the example was that of a friend, but you, the way you were categorical that I would try and stop it, I think that would be true for yourself and true for anybody else as well. So you would, that means if the question is really important, you will go to any length to ensure that the answer is to your satisfaction, how much ever effort it takes.
So on that one, it depends on or on the person. So if it also depends whether if I can understand, which I should, which I will eventually tell myself I need to understand whether this person is someone who actually try and listen, and if I do try, they will listen to me. And I won't waste my efforts in trying to like stop them from doing this go to waste. Rather than I wouldn't want to like try and stop them, but without knowing that they're the kind of person that just won't listen to people.
Okay, so here then I would want to put a very small question. Suppose it is something as bad as drugs or alcohol or some such big thing which is simply a no-no.
Yeah.
Your age and in your thought process. At that point, would you not go all out and just stop it because it would harm them much more than any normal small? Um,
I would really try to stop them. But if they were someone who I knew, as I said before, if they were someone that I knew would listen to me and would say, okay, yeah, you're probably right, this isn't good, then I would like try my best to stop them. Whereas if I'm trying to tell this person, as a different person, you should not do this, and if I eventually come to the realization that they won't listen, I will continue to try to tell them to stop doing what they're doing, but I wouldn't take such a big effort into it because at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do.
yeah, which goes without saying, but you would give in your full effort at that point of time. So those there are some questions where you would go beyond the normal questioning bit. You would want to see that the outcome is exactly what you want as much as possible.
Yeah,
Because there is another person there, they may agree or not. That's a different point altogether.
yeah.
The other thing that came to me was the fact that uh, I want to clarify this if I've understood this correctly. Do you believe that this attitude that you have, which is more sedate and calm and collected, is an is a obstacle to um, questioning deeply? Do you think it's a obstacle?
Um, yeah, sometimes because it's sometimes I just really want like my outcome to be the correct one, and I do know sometimes that my outcome is the correct one. So I really have to try to not make a big fuss about it, or I really have to try to not tell the other person that or like try not to shout because I don't want to start any arguments.
Okay. I think there's been a good discussion so far, and we can perhaps end at this point. Since you are going to be the first episode of the new year, so I want to wish you a happy new year. And
You
that's why
too.
this lit up background today to get into the merry mood.
Yeah,
Have a very good year, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much
yeah.
for joining.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.